Episode number 14 of Extracting Wisdom is here. Learn about how to conquer arguably the hardest section on the Perceptual Ability Test, angle ranking. Stick around. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Extracting Wisdom. My name is Brandon Evert, broadcasting from downtown Chicago, and today I'm going to be revealing the process I came up with that helped me crush the angle ranking portion of the PAT. Once you learn this series of steps and strategies, you will be armed with the knowledge to tackle any question in this section. Before we get into tips and tricks though, let's just quickly talk about this section as a whole. The angle ranking portion is the third subsection of the PAT after the keyhole and top front side sections. You will have 15 angle ranking questions in which you will have to rank 4 angles from smallest to largest in terms of degrees. Many pre-dental students believe that this is one of the hardest sections of the PAT. I certainly believed that too, because these angles can only differ by a few degrees and it's really hard to tell the difference. But what I'm about to share with you today in this episode will help make this section more manageable and help you achieve a higher score. All right, so let's get into the actual process. The first thing you're going to want to do is to not look at the angles. That might seem contradictory, but I'll explain why that is in just a minute. Instead of looking at the angles, go right to the answers, because a lot of times the answers will reveal a lot to you. For example, you might have a question where all 4 answer choices have the smallest angle being either angle number 1 or angle number 2. And if you can recognize this, then you will only have to look at angles 1 and 2 to determine which one is smaller. And then if you're able to determine which one is the smallest angle, then you can essentially eliminate half of the answer choices, which is really helpful. And then you can move on and do the same process for the largest angle. And focusing on the answers first helps guide you to only look at the angles that you actually need to. And honestly, the largest and smallest angles are usually the only 2 angles that you will need to point out in order to answer the question correctly. Now, once you pick 2 angles to look at, you do not want to stare at them for a long time. And that's one of the reasons why you do not look at the angles first. You go to the answers first, because here's the thing, the longer you stare at these angles, the more and more similar they look. That's because these angles are only off by a couple degrees. You really have to have a good eye for these kinds of things. So what really helped me is to, once you identify the 2 angles that you're looking at, is to rapidly scan your eyes across these angles. Looking at them quickly really helps reveal which angle is larger or smaller depending on what you need to figure out. And that's basically it. If you want to get a high score on this section of the PAT, just follow this procedure. The first thing you do, go right to the answer choices, don't look at the angles. Use the answer choices then to guide your thinking and to help you identify which angles to look at first. And then when you're looking at the angles and trying to decide which one is larger or smaller, rapidly scan your eyes across the 2 angles to determine which one is bigger or smaller. Now this is just the basic outline. At the time of release of this podcast episode, I will have also released a video on YouTube, kind of a Khan Academy style video where I walk you through some practice problems as well as reveal some more tips and tricks to help you excel at angle ranking. So please head on over to my YouTube channel, Brandon Evert DMD, to learn more. I will also have this link in the show notes for you to just click on, and the link will take you right there. So that's all I have for you today. This is just a quick episode to get you jump started on angle ranking and to kind of hand you off over to my YouTube video where you will be able to actually see and visualize this procedure in practice. So that's all I have for you today. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. My name is Brandon Evert, signing out.